Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am getting together my notes for my June wrap-up and my mid-year wrap-up. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to combine that into one video. But while I was compiling my notes and watching some booktube, I saw the mid-year freakout tag. And I thought, maybe I'll do it. The only way that I'm actually freaking out, though, is getting my reviews up in a timely manner. Because as far as my Goodreads goal, it's set at 400 and I'm at 269. So I am definitely not freaking out about that. And I may even raise it to 500 or 600. I most likely will, because it originally started at 600. But due to something that happened to me in January, I decided to lower it to 400 to remove some pressure off of myself. Now, I've been around BookTube for a few years, but I have had a couple of gaps where I didn't film for a year or so. And then I had another gap where I didn't film for like 8 months. But since January, I've been uploading every single week. And I think since January, I probably put up 200 videos at the bare minimum. So I thought, why not do this freakout tag, right? So there are 13 questions. And when I was looking over these questions, I realized that I can't answer all of them, but I just do the best that I can. The first question is the best book in 2022. Now, I'm going to give you two answers for this. I will give you my January favorite is The Dust Bowl Orphans by Suzette D. Harrison. So for right now, I might say that that would be my favorite book of this year, or the best book of this year. But I wanted to expand on this one. I want to grab a hold of an entire series that I binge read at the end of May, and that was the Angela Marston's Kim Stone series. It was books 1 through 16 as well as a prequel, and I read all 17 books in 4 or 5 days. That's going to be the best and most accurate answer I can give you for number one. Best book / books for 2022 that I have read. Best sequel goes right with that. We're going to have to say Angela Marston's, because every book was a sequel to the previous book, right? So again, I am not your typical reader. I am not a mood reader. I am just, make a list and I go with that list. So some of these questions don't work for me. Now, new release that I haven't read yet, but I want to. That is A Face to Die For by Iris Johansen, and it is the 28th book in is that the Eve Duncan? I think it's the Eve Duncan series. That's the one that was released a few days ago that I haven't had time to read yet. Now, if we move down to number 4, it says most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Now, I have a very long list of books that I have in my queue that I want to read. But then when I look at question number 4, it kind of matches question number 13 for me anyway. So I would just pick one book for question number 4, and I'll repeat the question. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I will say for that one, we'll say Reckoning by Catherine Coulter, which is the 26th book in her FBI series. We'll say that because I love that series, and I've had the book for the galley for 2 months. It won't be out for a couple of months, and I've had it for a couple of months. I just haven't had time to read it. So that will be it. Again, I will say it one more time. Reckoning by Catherine Coulter, book number 26 in the FBI series. If we move on to number 5, the biggest disappointment. I don't know if this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I will have to say The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. It did not wow me. I want to call this book out from last year. Last year's book Okay, when I first started reading Riley Sager, I would do 5 stars. And then when I read his book last year, which is I'm drawing a blank, Survive the Night, it was 4 stars from me. And now I read The House Across the Lake this year by Riley Sager, and I'm going 3 stars. So that would be my biggest disappointment. Now, my biggest surprise? My biggest surprise was kind of like a providential surprise. And that is By Her Own Design by Piper Hughley. I say a providential surprise because by the grace of God, I got a hold of that book. And it was a galley. Everything I'm showing you here pretty much is a galley, an ARC, an advanced reader copy. What happened with Piper Hughley's book is it was a William Morrow publication, but it didn't show up on NetGalley, so I didn't see it, and I wasn't aware of it. Well, another reviewer named Shara Jones said to me in one of the groups that we're in, Robin, here's a book that I think is perfect for you. I really think you should read it. Well, I had already set up my Book of Chore books that I wanted to read straight through to get all of my June blog tour titles done. My July blog tour titles done. I just want to get them out of the way. But I stopped that queue and I read By Her Own Design. And it is truly the biggest surprise. Wait a minute, I just lost my... There we go. Okay, so that would be my biggest surprise because I didn't know anything about the book. She gave me the publicist's email. I emailed the publicist. I got the book within 20 minutes and I read it that night. Definitely the biggest surprise. And that's it. Piper Hughley's By Her Own Design, about Anne Lowe, a forgotten designer from the 50s and 60s. Well, from 1920s to 1960s. Then, favorite new author. That's going to have to go unanswered. I just want to look at my notes from something else. I'm just trying to see if I can I say any of these would be? I can't. I can't really say Piper Hughley because I read a book by her last year. So we're just going to leave that one. We're going to have to leave that one. I love too many authors to come up with a favorite new one. Okay. Why don't we move on to newest fictional crush? I don't really get a lot of fictional crushes, but we're just going to go with the male protagonist in the latest book that I read, which is For the Love of the Bard. His name was Adam, and he was a veterinarian, and he was just Mr. Perfect. So we're just going to say Adam from For the Love of the Bard. Newest favorite character? I can't answer that. Yes, I can. I got you. Kim Stone. Kim Stone from the Angie Martians series. Yeah. From her Kim Stone. We'll say my newest favorite character. Book that made me cry. This was Caprice. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm drawing a blank on the author, but I'm going to pull it up right now because I didn't write the author's name for some weird reason. Okay, it was Coe Booth. Okay, Caprice was a book that made me cry because it's a middle grade book about a young 12-year-old girl who was the victim of abuse when she was 4 years old. And any victim of that type of abuse doesn't want to tell. They're too afraid to tell. And what it took for Caprice to tell her secret broke my heart. So that's a book that made me cry. Book that made me happy, that would be The Bodyguard. Why am I not thinking of the Catherine Center? I like Catherine Center. I think the other, I read a book by her last year, Things You Save in a Fire or something like that. So this is The Bodyguard. So yeah, I'll say that that book made me happy. Most beautiful, just about everything I get is digital. I mean, I do get some print ones, but I don't have anything pretty and fancy or anything like that. So there goes another one that I can't answer. Sorry. Now, 13 books that I need to read by the end of the year. Definitely my Neck Alley queue is loaded, okay? And I'm going to tell you about them. The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda. All these covers will come up. Off the Deep End by Lucinda Berry. A Mother Would Know by Amber Garza. Stay Awake by Megan Golden. And you'll notice that this is square because this is an audiobook arc. Then I have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, and it's another square, so it's another audiobook arc. Drunk on Love by Jasmine Guillory. Now, this was declined to me when I requested it on Neck Alley, but I emailed the publisher and said, hey, as a POC, I think, I should read this book. So they sent it right to me. Then Overkill by Sandra Brown. My goodness gracious, I love Sandra Brown. I have the digital arc, but the print arc will be here any day now, but I will probably read it as a digital copy. I already mentioned Reckoning by Catherine Coulter. Then I have The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell, which is number 2, and the first one was The Family Upstairs. So I'm going to reread The Family Upstairs before I read The Family Remains. Then I got another digital arc, audio arc, and this is James Patterson by James Patterson. A man that I have read 60 or 70 of his books. Why wouldn't I want to read his autobiography or his memoir? So that's definitely one I'm going to read. Another one I want to read is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And the last book I have, the last book I have on this list is Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer. Ooh, I'm going to mess up on her last name. Mad Honey. Okay, we'll just say Jodi Picoult for now, and the first woman's name is Jennifer something Boyle, but my writing is too sloppy, I can't read it. So those are the books that I have in my Neck Gallery queue that I thought I would get to in June, but now it is June 26th. Not gonna happen. Probably not going to get to them in July. I probably get to half in July and the other half in August. But those are the books that I want to read. I know for the Freak Out tag, I didn't answer all the questions the way the questions are laid out, but I can just do the best that I can do with what I have. So that's going to be it for now. I'm going to edit this video, pull in all these book covers so that you guys can see what I was talking about. But I thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye-bye.